Hi YouTube, this is Joe Calton with Calton Cutlery. You can find us on the web, caltoncutlery.com. This is a third video in the Etching to Find Faults series. I really wasn't too happy with the first couple of videos and the way that I wasn't able to show you what I was trying to show you. And I was thinking about this knife all night last night and all day today really, and trying to figure out why it didn't show what I wanted you to show so well. Now, part of that is because, that my camera isn't very great. I mean, it can't show you what I can see right here. And part of that, I think, this isn't something that I do very often. In fact, this is probably about the only time I've actually ever tried to burn an edge and then etch it to show it after. I've seen it several times, but I've never tried to replicate it before. So this time is it's been a pretty good learning experience. What I did, remember, I took this blade and we burnt the edge, burnt the tip, and then did some heating and quenching of this portion of the edge with the torch, and then I etched it in ferric. On the video, the first one, I had only etched it for, I don't know, maybe 30 seconds or so. It really didn't show up much anything. So then I stopped the tape, played around with etching it some more, ended up etching it for 2 10-minute series, which is way longer than what I normally do. But what I found was that while there is a color change and you can see the way that the steel reflects light during the damaged portions, what really got me thinking was where this edge has been eaten away up in here by the acid. So I got out here in the shop this morning and I started looking at it, and you can actually feel, I think what's happening is that you can feel where this, you can run your fingernail across here and feel where that hard part starts. I mean, you can catch it right there with your fingernail. So then I started looking up in here where this portion of the edge was burned. And remember, I showed you the close-ups underneath the little digital microscope where that portion of the edge had been eaten away. Well, then I looked up right around the edges of the burnt area, and they're not eaten away. Just the part that was burned was eaten. This part right in here has got some to a less, there's not quite as much of it, but there is some there also. So not only can you tell by the color change, but you can also tell by by the way the acid cuts the steel. So, and of course I didn't take measurements on this to be able to tell you how much that softer steel that the acid ate away. So what we're going to do, and I don't think I damaged this one enough so that you can see it on the camera. So I went ahead and I went through my junk box and I grabbed another knife. This one's also 1095. There is a hardening line, you probably won't be able to see it. Starts right about in here somewhere, and it's a pretty straight one, comes up right about there. So anyway, so what I'm going to do is, instead of grinding it to show a color change, because I want to check and see if my thumbnail will catch on the parts that have been damaged by the heat, and see what that shows me. So anyway, what we're going to do is, this time I'm going to make it dramatically obvious, and we're going to burn, heck, that much of the tip, just so that it should make it easier for you to see it. And then we're going to do the same thing, heating it and quenching it in the can of water. And then see if my fingernail will catch on that after it's been in the acid for a while. Actually, we'll just come right up on in here. No, that's not going to work so well. There, we got some blue coming in, and we're going to bring it back farther so that, like I said, hopefully it'll be a really dramatic picture that the camera will be able to pick up. Okay. So that much of it is blue. Oh, and you can start to see that hardening line right there when the light gets tilted right. I also did a fairly nice 400 grit finish on this side and kind of a nastier one on this side, so maybe the texture of the steel will make it easier to pick up in the camera also. So now that we got that part blue, let's see if we can do the whole heating up of the edge without changing the color. Heard it sizzle and felt it through the tang. Didn't quite get it hot enough that time. I'm hearing it sizzle each time and feeling it through the tang, and I'm not quite going quite as hot as I did last time, so hopefully we won't get a color change at all. About one more time. There we go. Okay. So we have a burnt tip. I was able to make it through with, if there is a color change in there, it's just very, very slight. So now let's throw it in the acid. Oh, when you're playing with this ferric, always keep it capped unless you got a blade in there. And then once you got a blade in there, make sure you're real careful around it, because you don't want this stuff spilling and getting all over your bench top. Now while that's sitting there, we're going to start a timer. While that's sitting there, I got another knife I want to show you. Now this one right here, it's still wet, and I'm hoping that that'll make it a little bit easier. Okay, see that right there? That half circle thing right there? That is where I took, okay, you can see the hardening line, and then you can see that half circle. That is where I took this junk blade. I can't remember what I was testing it for, if I just didn't like it and beat it up or something, but I took that propane torch and then just heated up that spot until it turned blue, and then put it in a vinegar etch, and it's been in there for about an hour and a half. Oh, you can really see it there. And of course I didn't snap a picture of it being blue. I just wanted to see if that would show up. But anyway, so that's, you know, I mean, that's a lot more of a dramatic showing you what I wanted to show you in the knife before. That same sort of thing happens in the edge, but it's like we saw on the other knife, it's really tough to bring it out on camera. You can also see where I burnt the tip. See that line going across there? And then there's a couple little spots. Let me grab a pointer here. There's a couple, let's see, so we've got this portion, and then you can see where I burnt the edge. This is one of the ones that I told you I'd practiced burning the edge on the belt grinder, because that's not the easiest thing for me to do. You know, I mean, my hands are used to working to prevent that. So my brain tells them, say, hey, do this, the thing that I've been telling you to not to do for a whole bunch of years, and I think they have a hard time listening. But you can see your hardening line here, and you've got this one with the torch, then you've got this one right here with the belt grinder, and then this one here, what I did was I stuck the back of the point up against the belt grinder, you know, like this. Oh, look at that. Oh man, look at there. I can finally show you what I wanted to show you. But anyway, stuck the belt grinder, you know, the point up against it like this, and just really bore down to let a lot of that heat build up in the thick portion and then travel down to the thinner portion. Now this was an hour and a half in a white vinegar etch. I've got a 4-inch piece of PVC over there, and I just filled it up with vinegar for etching choppers. And there for a while I was doing a really cool looking vinegar etch on some kitchen knives, and that's where I saw this the first time. I had damaged a knife, and then I thought I had ground out all the damaged portion of it. You know, I just changed the blade around, you know, to get rid of it. And then when I etched it, boy, it showed up plain as day, just like this. And that was where I saw it the best. And now you guys get to see it the best. That side I didn't sand down or prep, but yeah, look at that. Man, that's great. I gotta show that to you. Let's see what. See, that's coated in vinegar. Let me put it back in the tank. I'll probably let that blade sit in there for the rest of the day, and whenever I remember to take it out. Oh yeah, this is great. Look at this. Look at that. Where's my pointer? This is the exciting stuff I wanted to show you yesterday and couldn't. Okay, so we have a hardening line, and then look at that, just painfully obvious. That's where I hit it with the torch. And like I said, you know, I'm doing this in a big way so that you can see this, but this is what happens at the edge when you get too heavy-handed on the belt grinder, especially with fine belts or with worn out belts. If they're not cutting cool enough, this is what's happening at the edge. Now, this portion in here, not seeing anything where we were playing the torch back and forth. Oh, there's a camera. So what I'm going to do with this blade here, I'll look at it in person and see if I can't see it. I am not seeing anything in the etch so far. Well, you know, those reading glasses are really nice, but man, try moving around with them. They make you dizzy in a heartbeat. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave this one in the ferric for, oh, I don't know, half hour, something like that, and see if that portion that I heated with the torch, just shy of a color change, see if it gets eaten away at a different rate than the rest of the blade. Like this other one did, where, you know, my fingernail will catch the difference between the soft spot and the hard spot. I actually had it was about a 4.5 inch class hunter once that I was doing a vinegar etch on, and I forgot about it. And sometime one day I put it in there, completely forgot about it. The next day all of a sudden I remembered, and I thought, hey, I forgot to pull that out. And it was still in the tank, you know, most of it. This portion right here, where you could catch with your fingernail, oh my God, it was 10 thousandths difference in that. I mean, there was a definite lip there where, you know, the softer portion of the steel was quite a bit thinner than the hardened portion of it was. I wish I would have kept it. I think I gave it to somebody to use as a beater knife or something, or maybe I threw it away, who knows. But it was really cool, so I'll have to see if the ferret does that on this one, and that'll, a little bit of luck, that'll show up in the camera also, and then you'll be able to get a good graphic representation of what happens on a big, well, what happens on a smaller scale on the belt grinder. Well, you know what I mean. Okay, well, I'm very happy that I was able to show you guys that. We'll have to take one more look. One more look at that. Okay, hope you guys enjoyed the video, and we will see you next time.